The OnePlus Nord N20 5G. We talked about it last week, said it was going to be on the channel, and here it is, my 24-hour impressions, kind of initial review of the device. The cool thing about this right now, $282 is going to be the list price, but if you get it right now, T-Mobile, with the new line, you're looking at $0. So you got to, 24 months, you got to keep the line, all that stuff, but you're not going to be paying for this device with T-Mobile if you go ahead and get yourself a new line. I don't know the Metro PCS deal on it, but I know it's going to be there as well. And Amazon Unlocked will be coming later on this year. For $282 right now, I'm very impressed. I'm quite impressed. And I thought I would be, looking at the device, looking at the performance, looking at certain things, the specs that they had on the device in that price range, and the design, which is just, I think it nails it. This is a heck of a lot better. I think this design is better than the OnePlus 10. So there's a lot to like here. So let's go on with that. First thing I think that puts this well above the competition in its price range is the display. This display, I understand it's people are looking at it as like a downgrade because the N10 had a 90 hertz panel, but it was an LCD. Let me tell you something. Giving up that 90 hertz display for this OLED is absolutely worth it. This is almost as good, probably pound for pound, if you hold them side by side, as good as the OLED panel on the OnePlus 9, which was phenomenal. Great color, great saturation, great contrast, all the rest of it. And it has that typical OnePlus kind of creamy feel to the display, which I happen to like. It's not necessarily a warmth, but it just is a full, rich color and a beautiful panel. Look at this on camera. $282. You don't get displays like this in this price range. And we're going to be looking at the TCL 30XE or whatever the name of that as well, because that's free right now on T-Mobile, and comparing them, and between the two, even though that has a 90 hertz panel, I'd be looking at this guy right here. So let's look at the build as well as you go around it. Thin, relatively light device without feeling cheap, which is good. It is plastic, I understand, but we've gone over the difference between good plastic and bad plastic, and this is certainly a good plastic. It doesn't feel brittle. It doesn't feel like you're going to have a problem or snap in your hand. I really like this back here. It didn't go quite flat blue or anything like that, or glossy blue, just kind of this frosted blue flat back design. I love that camera array there. Fantastic design, I think, especially on a budget device or a device going towards the budget range. Nice flat OLED panel that we talked about, full HD, 60 hertz, 1080p, but you get the battery savings as well as that OLED. Just a beautiful flat display, a little hole punch camera as well. Headphone jack, which apparently if you spend under $300, you get a headphone jack. Once you get over $400, as we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G, you lose the headphone jack. USB-C charging, 33 watt, included in the box with the OnePlus Red charging cable. Fantastic. 30 minutes to less than 30 minutes got me from 45% to 95%. And then, of course, the last 5%, it kind of backs it off a little bit, so it takes a little bit longer. Downside, mono speaker. It gets relatively loud, but you could really tell it's a mono speaker. It's not a little distortion in the upper end ranges. Doesn't get super loud when you're watching videos and stuff like that, but you do have the headphone jack to make up for that. Micro SD card slot. A lot of people love that. Volume up and down on the left side, then the micro SD card slot, and then your power button and sleep wake on this side here. Performance is incredible. When you're talking a Snapdragon 695, I was curious to see when they put that 5nm chip, paired with 6 gigs of RAM, and really snappy performance. Pokemon Go was good. Scrolling on Instagram was fantastic. No problems with social media whatsoever. I didn't notice any delays or lags or any sort of issues there. Twitter was fantastic. No issues on there. Just really an overall great experience that you're not typically used to at the sub $300 price range. And when you pair it with such a high quality display, I can't express that enough. I can't go over that enough. How good this display is at this price point, and it is something that you're going to use every time you look at the phone. It's not like one of these features that they pull out sometimes that you don't use or use every once in a while. You're looking at the screen every time you use the phone. And this is the absolute best display experience you're going to have sub $300, at least in my opinion. So, battery life, even though the charging is fast, you're still getting up over 6.5, 7 hours. You could stretch that more. I'm keeping the brightness all the way up. So, of course, we're having a little bit, and I keep adaptive brightness off and all the rest of it. So you're going to have a little bit better battery life if you do actually take steps to preserve your battery life, which I don't. And I'm still getting upwards of 7 hours, which is fantastic on a device like this, which is pretty light and thin for a device getting that type of battery life. The other thing that I love to see that's been back and it's been absolutely helpful with the experience and the entire package is their option to stick with Android 11 and Oxygen OS 11. Nothing was worse than using Oxygen OS 12 on my OnePlus 9. It completely ruined the experience to me with the ColorOS integrations. It wasn't necessarily the stuff that they integrated with ColorOS, it's just how poorly they did it. So for them to take a step back and say, look, you know what? We made a mistake. We're pulling back some of the integration for Android 13. We're going to be working on it in Android 12 throughout the year, but on a budget offering, we are already not getting a top-of-the-line Snapdragon, where battery life is important, where running smoothly is important when you're running a Snapdragon 695 with 6 gigs of RAM. You don't have a lot of margin for error there. To go ahead and say, you know what, we're going to put Oxygen OS 11 back on there and stick with that, since we know it's optimized, we got it running, we got it working well. That's a brave call, it's a bold call, but it's a good one. And if you get this device, you're going to like it, because if you can kind of erase the last few months from your memory and remember the experience that you used to get with OnePlus with their devices, this is a throwback to that. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign at $282. And this, at least in the United States, has become their bread and butter. The N200, the N10, those have become the phones through T-Mobile that they sell the most of here in the United States. And with good reason. If they can offer this kind of quality and performance at a price point that even if you don't get the free deal, you're talking $11 a month, something like that. If you don't get any sort of deal whatsoever, 24 months on T-Mobile, you could do a heck of a lot worse. This is really excellent so far. We're going to put the camera through its paces over the course of the week. We're going to do a bunch of other stuff with it and kind of get more in depth with the games. Like I said, Pokemon Go is fine. I think you're going to be able to do your light to medium gaming with no problems. But the design decisions, the feature decisions, the Snapdragon they put in it, the RAM decisions that they made with this device, the extra stuff that you get, the charger in the box, there's a heck of a lot to like here. Heck of a lot to like. And a design that doesn't look last week. You know, I got it right here. Let's see if we can pull it out. Without, well, I got it over there. The TCL device looks like it was from 2019. This looks like it's a 2022 brand new design budget phone that I think looks better than their flagship offerings. And that's saying quite a lot. There are a couple bizarre things. Number one is the ambient display. Okay, you're always on display. There are 0 options with this thing. They don't even put the 1 when it's 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. They don't even change that red. And it doesn't include, unless I have a setting wrong, in which case leave a comment below in the comment section, it doesn't give you any of the notification bubbles of what you have. Nothing. It's got the fingerprint at the bottom. Now, of course, you could turn the screen on and you get, of course, the notifications listed out and the notification bubbles and all the rest of it. But as of right now, I don't know if that's a T-Mobile thing or that was, I don't remember that from my OnePlus 9. It just might be phone specific, but we'll go into the settings. I'll type in ambient display. If it gets it there, well, if we do it, ambient display, and you can see the settings, what to show, fingerprint icon, that's it, always on. There's nothing for notifications or messages or, from what I could see, music control. Now, it does give you something. At least you see the time and the date and the fingerprint sensor there for the always on display, which is okay. But I thought that was a weird software nerf to not have the bubbles of your notifications as well. The other thing that people talk about is haptics. The haptics are bad. It's not the haptics where it's finger pad numbingly bad, where it's just kind of piezo type deal, like the electronic football, like I've talked about before with some of the haptic stuff, but it's delayed. Like there's a little lag when you're typing stuff in, which aggravates me. Turn it off, no problems whatsoever. But overall, the package, just look at this thing. Does this look like any $282 you're aware of? $282 phone you're aware of? Not to me. And that display, look, and it even shows up on camera. That's a gorgeous display at this price point. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. A lot of stiff competition getting lower and lower, which is great. Competition down at that price point is better for everybody as this tech. And now you can get nice, beautiful OLED panels. And OnePlus, if they're going to redeem themselves for all the faults that they've had at the flagship level the past 12 months or so, this is certainly a good start. T-Mobile, Metro PCS, you're good to go. Amazon Unlocked is going to be around a little bit later in the year. 5G as well, which you could turn off and say. And T-Mobile, for all the other stuff they have, they have kind of goofy software and stuff that you got to go through and you could turn off. But they do have an easy way to turn off 5G if you wish as well to save even more battery life. Love that camera array. Overall, just a fantastic experience. Remember, Long Island Watch, longislandwatch.com. Link will be in the description. Help out those who help the channel. Some great watches. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Stay tuned for the week-long review of this guy. I'm going to enjoy it. Just that flat, just overall, just go ahead, go to the store, take advantage of the free device. Until next time, have that Steve-alicious day.